Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's me again, Sabrina, back here with another video. First off, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me. Thank you for all of you guys who are always here, whether you've been here since day one or you're a new follower, but who just take the time out of your day to hear what I have to say. I am greatly appreciative of your support, and yeah, so we all know how difficult it is to leave a situation that is familiar, even when that familiar situation is bad. It's hard to leave a bad relationship even though it's toxic and it's abusive. It's hard to leave a job that you've outgrown and that doesn't have anything for you anymore. It's hard to leave, to relocate and to move to a different state or a different country, or a different city or region, because this is what you know, this is what's familiar. Now, when we finally muster up the courage to actually let those things go, those bad things, we let it go because we understand that they're no good for us, and we're expecting to move into something better. Now, what happens when God calls us to leave something that is already good because he wants to give us better? But in your mind, you're not thinking like, oh, God's gonna give me better, because if what I have is good right now, what better could God be offering me? Like, I didn't ask for anything else. The relationship I'm in right now is good. We don't really have any issues. We're Gucci. The job that I have is pretty cool. I come in, clock out. I do what I do and I be out. The town that I'm in, I don't have any issues, and blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. But when God calls us to move and to leave certain things in our lives, it's usually because he has better for us. It's very hard to understand this concept because, like I said, we're so attached to familiarity. We're so attached to what it is that we know, and we like to stick to what we know. All of that really comes down to us just having faith and trusting in him. I know that is something that is extremely hard for us to do because God doesn't give us the whole blueprint. He doesn't give us the whole layout of what's gonna happen and how he wants us. A lot of times he doesn't even tell us what the better is, what even the end goal is. When we're like in a competition, we already know, okay, this is the prize that we're competing for. We already know this is where the finish line ends. But with God, it's like he'll tell us to do things most times and we don't even know what the specific end goal is. Okay, so if I leave this job, can you at least tell me if there's gonna be another job out there for me? But he doesn't disclose all of that information to us all the time, all at once, because he wants us to trust him. It's about that process. And like I said, that is no easy feat, because even when we're in a bad situation, it's hard to let go because it's so familiar. You know what I mean? And so whatever God is calling us to, it looks different than what we have in our heads. And so it's scary. It scares us, and therefore we pull back from it. But the thing about God is he sees the bigger picture. He knows the whole story, while we only see the scenes. We only see the clips as we're walking through them, as we're living through them. And so I would much rather trust the producer, the maker, the person who knows how the story is gonna start and how it's gonna end. If I'm just skimming through it and getting the clips and getting the scenes and the edits and all of that, it's not gonna do me any good. I have to trust the process. Moving into a new season starts with trusting God. And trusting is not just with your mouth, saying, I trust God. It's even in those dark moments, like, what am I doing to demonstrate to God that I do trust him? We have to get to the point where we understand that even in the bad situations, God is still in it. God is still working it out. He's not intimidated by our bad situations. We get a bad medical report and we're freaking out, understandably so. But when we get our lives into focus, God will reveal to us that His love for us is not just in the cure. It's not just in, oh, I'm going to cure you of this disease, of this sickness, of this bad medical report. It's, I provided medical insurance, so you didn't have to pay out of pocket or try to come up with money, or, you know, you could get treated properly for this condition that I already saw headed your way. You know, you lose your job and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? But then it's not about God just giving you another job right away to replace that other job. It's about, what did you gain from that experience? Because maybe now you've had time to sit with yourself and really have a clearer understanding of what it is you want to do in life. Have more clarity on what career path that you really want to go on. That relationship wasn't successful. You and that person, it didn't work out between the two of you guys. But understand that if you guys were to stay together, even though you guys were not supposed to be together, you would have been stuck carrying his child. Or he would have been stuck being a father to your child, and you guys can't stand each other. There are a lot of things that God works for us in the midst of our bad situations that we don't give him enough credit for. Like, yeah, you know, we still went through this hard trial, but think about the things that he did to sustain us even in that hard trial. Like, this is a very personal one for me, because as of late, it's been very difficult for me in certain areas. And what I once knew to do is not necessarily working out for me the way that I thought it would. You know, every time that, okay, I rely on my plan, I rely on what I want to do. You know what? I'm going to do this, that, and the third. And if I do this, I should get this outcome. And every single time, the door slams right in my face over and over and over again. And I'm able to tell you guys this now, not because, oh, I've seen, you know, it come together finally. No, it's just that God is really just refining my vision. He's refining my perspective and helping me to hone in on his truths. That even though my situation has not fully, you know, repaired itself or shown itself the way that I want it to, I'm still trusting in him because he's the maker. You know what I mean? It's like my trust in him isn't contingent upon my situation. I don't trust my husband because of this one thing that he can do. I trust the man. I trust the position that he holds in my life, that even if this plan that he has for us fails, it doesn't work out, I trust him enough that we will be able to come up with something else. That he will still be able to keep himself together enough that he won't give up. You know what I mean? So that's how it is with God. I don't trust him because my situation looks good or because things are working out in my favor the way that I want them to. I trust him because he is the maker. I have to trust the maker. I have to trust the manufacturer. I have to trust the producer. Because even if that one plan fails, I know that there, or at least fails in my eyes, right? Because God never fails. But even if that one plan fails, I know that he's working on something greater, something better. And so it's a process. And the thing about the process is that it's never easy, right? Like, so let's just get that out of our heads, thinking that this is going to be a seamless process, a seamless transition. It's never easy, and it never will be easy. And even when we say one day, I'm sure I'll be able to look back on this and be able to see the reason for this and yada, yada, yada. That day, it may take years before that day comes, before I see the reason, before I see the sense in all of this. And so I still have to give God the authority that he has in my life. I still have to trust him enough to know that I just can't see it yet. Because again, he sees the whole picture. He knows the whole story. I'm just going through the scenes. And so the beautiful thing is I don't have to be worried about what I see God doing for somebody else, because I know that God is an individual God. He will bless each of us individually. He has a plan specifically for each of us individually. He's not there just like recycling blessings because he has a shortage. There's a shortage of blessings in heaven, you know, and he's like, oh man, like I'm running out of blessings here. Let me just microwave this one. Let me heat this one up. Let me pop this one in the oven from the last person. No, God has endless blessings. And so I don't have to be troubled when I see somebody else's situation working out. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, like it gets to me, right? Because I'm like, God, but I'm right here. Or God, like I've been asking you or praying for this. Or God, why can't this work out for me the way that you're working it out for somebody else? It's not even in an envious way, right? But it's just like, God, what about me? But I know that his supply is not running low. So I can trust that if he didn't give it to me yet, that whatever he's got is brewing up so strongly that it's gonna look different from what everybody else has. It's gonna be better than what I could put together in my own mind. So I had to literally just trust him for that. The thing is, we say that we trust God and we'll tell God, yeah, we trust him and we're believing for this, but we don't really mean that a lot of times. Because God can't bless us for what we don't believe him for. I can't give God a time limit and be like, okay, well, God, I trust you. And then when a week goes by or when a day or a month or whatever timeline that I have in my head, like, okay, I'm trusting God up until this point. That's not how that works. That is not how that works. And we limit God when we do that. And I'm not saying that you can't have certain goals, right? And you can't speak certain things prophetically into your life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about losing hope or losing faith when you see that time is ticking and God still hasn't worked out something that you're believing for. Because the belief is not in the situation, it's in the God that you serve. The things that I'm imagining in my mind that God is about to do for me in my life, in my current situations that I'm like struggling in right now. I'm just, like, I can't even really put it into words. Because whatever I'm already thinking up here, I know that that's not what he's actually gonna do. I know he's gonna do something 20 times greater than what I could even come up with in my own limited mind. But if I can't trust him enough for him to do what he needs to do, I can easily mess up his plans for my life. Not because God is not sovereign or God's not merciful or God's not loving or God's just waiting for me to screw up, not because of any of that. But if I don't give him anything to work with, he can and will use somebody else. If every time that he has this plan set for my life, I want to make it difficult and I'm like, nah, I'm not ready to let go of this and I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. He certainly can, in a heartbeat, decide, you know what, all right, you stay low level. You stay a bottom feeder. You stay here on this leveled playing field where everything is comfortable and everything is mediocre, but I'm trying to take you to higher. So God's not gonna punish me because of that. But he can gladly show off his grace, show off his goodness, show off his glory in someone else. Because all I'm doing is getting in the way of what he's trying to do. And that's what we do when we don't fully trust God. We're in his way. We're there playing defense every time that he's trying to do something for us. And I know it's very challenging. Trust me, I know. Because I've been in a very, very dry season. Oh man, I can't tell you. I've been in a super dry season as of late. But I just keep encouraging myself that just do what God is telling you to do right now. I don't have to know what tomorrow's gonna look like. I don't have to know what the outcome is gonna be. I'll cross that bridge when I get there because I'm trusting the one who is. When the scripture says that he is a lamp unto my feet, imagine literally a lamp onto your feet, in front of your feet. You can't see far with that lamp that's in front of your feet. You can only see enough for that next step. And so that's what he means when he says he is a lamp unto our feet. He's not like a street light where it lights up this end of the block to that end of the block and where we could see the whole scope of our neighborhood. He's like, I am a lamp unto your feet. So trust me with every step you take. So if I'm waiting on something from God and God is telling me, I need you to do this right now. I need you to take care of your family right now. Don't worry about where this is gonna come from and how the outcome of this. I need you to start this right now. Start this ministry. I need you to serve still. I need you to give still. I need you to encourage still. I need you to still fill out the applications. I need you to still go to the interviews. I need you to still date. I need you to still do this and still forgive. I just gotta do what he asked me to do now. Not worrying about how is this gonna help me in my situation? How is this gonna be the breakthrough? Is this gonna be the thing that you're gonna use? Is this gonna be it? I don't need to know all that. I would love to, but I don't need to know all of that, because that's not real faith. And this is more of a personal statement. I know that God is in my situation, because everything that I've tried in my own power is failing. Every outcome, everything, every solution that I come up with in my mind, nothing works. Nothing is working. So I know he's in it, because if this many doors are slamming in my face, if this many things are not working out right, but yet he's still sustaining me, like I can't begin to explain to you guys the way that God has sustained me over this season of my life, over this period of my life. It does not even make sense. It doesn't. And that's why I have no intentions on losing hope now, or giving up on him, or, losing faith, because even though I didn't get the things that I wanted, even though the things that I tried to do did not come to fruition, showed me, look at what I have done in your life. And I'm like, wow. I can't even make sense of it. But he did it. I really hope that this was very encouraging for you guys, and it really helps you to close in on the goodness of God. That your situation doesn't have to look good for God to be good. And don't be afraid when God is trying to take you from good to better. Don't be afraid to let go of the good, or what you perceive to be as good. Don't be afraid to relinquish the hold of those things that God is telling you to let go of, to just step into the unknown, because he got you. I'm speaking from personal experience. He got you. Okay? All right, as y'all all know, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with the people you love, and give it a big old like for me. Bye. Catch you on the next one.